No Rock, no Cena, no Roman, no end times. No problem. The longest running weekly episodic wrestling show in Netflix history had its second episode last night, and for the second week in a row, Raw knocked it out of the park. The show opens with a truck arriving at the SAP Center in San Jose before CM Punk emerges and makes his way to the ring. Punk starts off his promo acknowledging the firefighters and first responders fighting this natural disaster. Then he enters wrestling mode as he addresses his victory over Seth Rollins last week on the Netflix premiere. Punk says he has a lot of things on his plate, but Seth Rollins isn't one of them anymore. Punk references his setback at last year's Royal Rumble before referencing another individual famous for coming back from setbacks, John Cena. Punk says just like Cena did last week, he's declaring himself for the 2025 Royal Rumble before Seth Rollins' music hits and the Monday Night Messiah, sporting a nasty bruise on his right eye, joins him in the ring. Seth says he's disappointed with himself for underestimating Punk last week, and the only way he can get redemption is to take Punk's WrestleMania dreams and flush them down the toilet. Rollins then officially declares himself for the 2025 Royal Rumble before Drew McIntyre's music hits. McIntyre says you're self-serving, but the comment wasn't directed at rival CM Punk, but rather Seth Rollins. Drew accuses Seth for not assisting last week in Tribal Combat to keep the power away from Roman Reigns. The three then tease coming to blows before Drew McIntyre says there's a bigger problem going on right now. He says Roman Reigns is playing chess while every other idiot is playing checkers. He calls himself a reluctant hero and says he's going to step up for himself and the locker room. In order to get his hands on the title before Roman does, Drew also declares himself for the 2025 Royal Rumble match. A tremendous opening exchange continuing multiple storylines all headed towards the Royal Rumble. The match is already stacked with John Cena, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins already confirmed. Their stories weaving throughout the entire Rumble can make for some really exciting drama this year. Chad Gable then enters for his Luchador Open Challenge as Michael Cole says Chad should have little fear of his opponent.
Oh, okay. I see what you did there.
The lights go out before Penta officially makes his debut, a debut that Michael Cole says was the worst kept secret in the business. Duh. Penta's entrance is phenomenal with the lighting, the pyro, the crowd reaction. He already looks and feels like a star. Chad and Penta have an incredible TV match, allowing Penta to get most of his signature offense in, including a beautiful Mexican destroyer. At the end of the match, Penta escapes the ankle lock before hitting the sacrifice, attempting to break Chad's arm. Penta then delivers the Penta driver for the win. After the match, Penta is interviewed by Jackie Redmond. He acknowledges his family in the front row before saying this is not only the Netflix era, but also the Penta new era. El Saddle! This was the best debut of 2025, not just because we're only 14 days into the year. The entire presentation of Penta, from the entrance to the match to the crowd reaction, made him seem like a megastar. Chad Gable was also the perfect debut opponent and deserved a lot of credit as well. I can't wait to see what Penta does next. Back in the Judgment Day Clubhouse, we get a bit of tension between Finn Balor and Liv Morgan before Dirty Dom enters with a bouquet of roses, apologizing for attempting to reconcile with Rhea Ripley last week. Morgan says she's not mad, but if he could grab her bags and Raquel's from the car, and make sure the valet is ready for them at the end of the night, that'd be great. As Liv walks off, the men discuss Finn's street fight tonight against Damian Priest. Dom offers to come to ringside, but Finn tells him to worry about his girl. Back in the ring, Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser reignite their rivalry as former UFC heavyweight and light heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier, as well as Intercontinental champion Braun Breaker, are seated at ringside for this hard-hitting match. After avoiding a running enziguri from Kaiser, Sheamus is able to hit a bro kick for the win. After the match, Sheamus goes to celebrate with Pat McAfee before getting into a shoving match with Braun Breaker. It's later announced that those two will meet a week from Saturday on Saturday night's main event for the Intercontinental Championship. Backstage, Kathy Kelly catches up with Seth Rollins, who announces next week he'll face Drew McIntyre on Raw in a WrestleMania rematch. As he exits the interview area, he bumps into Sami Zayn, who tries to console Seth after his loss last week, to which Seth responds saying it was a great week for Sami Zayn since his boy Roman Reigns has the Ulafala back. Rollins then leaves after asking Sami if he's going to keep helping Reigns or will he finally help himself. Elsewhere in the arena, Karrion Kross is seen leaving Adam Pearce's office, and he tells The Miz the Wyatt Six have been moved to SmackDown before warning The Miz that he better not have had anything to do with that. Sami Zayn then attempts to enter the office but is stopped by Karrion Kross. The Miz mocks Sami Zayn, which leads to the two having a match later tonight on Raw. In the crowd, the new NXT champion Opa Femi is shown as the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther makes his way to the ring for his Netflix debut. Gunther says everyone is fighting over personal drama when they should be fighting for the World Heavyweight Championship before main event Jey Uso makes his way to the ring to a huge ovation. Jey says the Bloodline family drama is behind him and he wants to step up for Gunther's World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther says Jey is naive if he thinks he can take the title from him and that when the bell rings, he'll expose Jey for what he really is, a really talented tag team wrestler. He says main event is just a nickname for Jey, but the place Gunther belongs, before setting up a championship match for the two on Saturday night's main event. A very strong promo from Gunther. The two have had great matches over the Intercontinental Championship in the past, so I can't wait to see what happens in the next chapter for the World Heavyweight Championship. We see San Jose's own Bayley in the crowd to watch the finals of the Women's Intercontinental Championship tournament as Lyra, Valkyria, and Dakotai do battle. The two put on a great match with some incredible action, including Lyra suplexing Dakota off of the apron all the way to the floor. In the end, Lyra hit a Nightwing to score the win and become the first ever Women's Intercontinental Champion. Adam Pearce then presented the title to Lyra before Dakota re-entered and shook Lyra's hand and held her arm in victory. A great show of sportsmanship after a great contest between the two. After a commercial break, The Miz went one-on-one with Sami Zayn. Zayn scored the pin after a haluva kick and a Blue Thunder Bomb to score the win. I really like that Sami actually won the match with his Blue Thunder Bomb. It's not often when a wrestler wins with their secondary finisher. After the match, Rhea Ripley comes to the ring to discuss her win last week and regaining the Women's World Championship. But Mommy is interrupted by the former WWE Women's Champion Nia Jax. Nia was talking to Adam Pearce backstage about the transfer window and then just had to come out and talk to Mommy. She wanted to let Rhea Ripley and everyone else know that she was going to win the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble and then take whichever championship she wants. She takes a jab at Bayley in her hometown of San Jose, causing Bayley to jet the barricade. The three eventually come to blows until Rhea and Bayley send Nia out of the ring as they stand tall in the ring. Announced next week on Raw from Dallas, Texas, in addition to Drew McIntyre vs. Seth Rollins, the New Day will return to action, as well as WWE Hall of Famer JBL is scheduled to appear. And in our main event, Finn Balor and Damian Priest went to war in an absolutely brutal street fight that spread all over the arena and up into the audience. It was there where Damian Priest delivered a broken arrow out of the stand and threw 2 tables to Finn Balor. As we came back from commercial, Finn Balor was being placed on a stretcher while Carlito and JD McDonough checked on him. Damian Priest, however, was not done with the fight and continued to go to work on all 3 Judgment Day members. Back in the ring, Carlito and JD attempted to assist Finn Balor before the World Tag Team Champions, the War Raiders, ran down to even the odds. Finn and Damian continued the brawl on the outside of the ring, where Finn delivered a coup de grace through a table at ringside. But Damian popped back up, slammed Finn through the ringside barrier before delivering a razor's edge through another table outside of the ring. In the ring, Damian grabbed Finn by the throat and shouts, "I am not my brother's keeper," before delivering a South of Heaven chokeslam for the win. Damian celebrates as Raw goes off the air at 10:30, a half hour earlier than expected. I thought this was a great follow-up to the Netflix debut episode last week. We saw another great night of action, and this time saw the episodic storytelling that Triple H promised us last week. WWE is continuing to build up momentum for what could be the most exciting Royal Rumble in years. The #1 show on Netflix hits another home run. But what did you think of the second episode of Raw on Netflix? Who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button and click the bell to turn on notifications. I'm JR Judy, and I'll see you next time.
Say goodbye to all the hardcore fans, Charlie. Bye-bye! Bye-bye! Bye-bye, everybody! Bye-bye!